Yes. Remember, everyone's going to be different. And a lot of the ratios really depend on how effective your inbound marketing is or not. But for a lot of SaaS companies, and I think Salesforce was this way, the changes by market, but it's not, I think, like a 40% coming from inbound, including word of mouth, and 40% coming from outbound, and 20% coming from partners is kind of, I'd say, like a really, it's so different, but that's a fair longer term ratio. The reason why you don't want to, there's not a right ratio, because I'll give you a better example. There's a company called Bright Edge that years ago, right, we helped them set up their outbound prospecting team when they were a bit under $1 million. They'd had a bunch of customers from their word of mouth, like just investors and relationships. So they built their outbound team first. Sometimes you want to do your inbound side first, sometimes outbound. At that point, it's really what do you feel as an executive is like the right way to go. But you want to do one than the other. They built outbound. They drove themselves really like 20 million in revenue through mostly outbound. Like 90% of their revenue came from outbound, going from 1 to 20 million in revenue. And they did it in some crazy fast amount of time. Because once they got outbound going, they just like piled it on. So at that point, they were 90% outbound, 10% it's called word of mouth. Then they're, okay, we got that going. Let's develop our inbound. So they built out their inbound and started to get those leads coming in. And their goal was to get a 50-50 between inbound and outbound. So the point is that the ratio will change based on how effective your outbound is and how effective your inbound is. And the thing for the executives to remember, there's not a magic goal to get to. It's looking at how effective is my outbound, how effective is my inbound, and making the right decision at the time. Where should I focus? Where should I double down next? Should I continue to double down on outbound for now? Or should I sort of let that ride and then switch to inbound or customer success? And that could be like a week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter evaluation is where are you going to get the most bang for your buck next? And over time, you probably will end up at that 40-40-20, but it's not a magic number. You don't start there. It might take years for you to get there. Mm-hmm. Now, one last point for a services company, all bets are off, right? Services, it's just harder to do outbound. Sometimes it's harder to do lead generation in general. So, it could be that same 40-40-20. It could be 90% inbound, 10% referral. It could be 90% outbound. It's just, it's all over the map for services companies, because there's also so many types of services companies.